Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
Cool. So we are live on Facebook now, Rachel. Thank God, as we're just kind of laughing about like the gong show of technology on some days and the gong show that is parenting on some days. We are live on Facebook now, Rachel. Thank God, as we're just kind of laughing about like the gong show of technology on some days. And okay, so I'm gonna close off that window. That was fucking ironic. That was like perfect timing. Let me talk about the gong show of technology. Then I'm going to be running Facebook in the background so that I hear myself as I speak. So, all right. This is like take 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but I want to start off by first introducing you, Rachel, and really thanking you for being on the Facebook Live today. And I just really honor you being here. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's do this. So you were one of the women that was at Women Wanting More Live 4.0. So here in Victoria, BC, back in November. And I'm having the honor and privilege to interview each of you. This is now almost 3 months later. Is that right? November, December? Yeah, almost 3 months later now, right? From when we first saw all of you here, spent some time across the street here in the beach as I'm pointing out my window. And to really help people, women, understand what this is about. So my next event, which is called The Evolution Now, and it's called that because it'll be definitely a level up from when the 5 of you were here. But it's like, women will say things to me. They're like, well, what's it all about? And, you know, how does it work? And like, it's almost this like anomaly, like, what is it? And so I really wanted to, number one, showcase you and the other 4 incredible women, the work that you've done and continue to do past the event, but to really give women a bird's eye view as to like, what was your experience really like, and have a very real conversation about what that was. And so why don't we start with this? Why don't you begin with sharing like, where you were in your life and what really made you want to apply to be at the live event in the first place?
Well, when I first started listening to your podcast, I was basically where I was at in life is stuck is the biggest word that comes to mind. I was working night shifts at the time. So I worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I'd known for years already that my body was done with it. And I was still allowing myself to stay stuck in that schedule. I would actually listen to your podcast at night while I was at work.
As a nurse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I had spent probably almost a whole year before really digging deep into your podcast, sleeping. And that was how I numbed. I was unhappy with work, unhappy with my marriage. Pretty much all my close relationships around me, my kids, my husband, were all suffering. I say that I was in a dark spot at that time. Really just stuck. And we get in those places that we're stuck and we get comfortable in it and we don't move. And we just sit there saying, I'm stuck. And we don't do anything about it. So once I started listening to your podcast, they really start helping to open my eyes that I had all the power at the time. The only one stopping myself was me. I was choosing to stay stuck and I was choosing to waste my life. I felt very like it didn't have a purpose, and that led me to feel depressed, and I just kept letting it snowball. So that's pretty much where I was at before I even knew about your live event.
So here's what really strikes me with what you're saying, right? And of course, I mean, I know some of the story, obviously, since you and I spent some very intimate time together, but like the feeling of, so if you saying like, and I hear this and I believe this, right? If you're saying like, I didn't feel like I had purpose, it's like mom of 3 boys, right? Wife, nurse. Like a lot of people would look at you from the outside and go like, you got it all together. Like, what do you mean you feel stuck? What do you mean like you have all the pieces? And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of women feel this way. and they feel this guilt about it. Like, I should, right? Like, again, everything on the outside appears like everything's great, but there's a stuck feeling, there's a loss, there's a, this is the message I get so much about all of this, right? So, yeah.
I think a big part of that feeling stuck too is you just keep going through life, doing all these little tasks that need to be done. You need to take your kids to school, you got to make dinner, you got to clean, you got to do all these things, but you don't do any of those things with any kind of intention or meaning. So the purpose in all of it gets lost.
Like an unconsciousness almost, right? Like just, yeah. Because honestly, like you can numb with just everyday life. Like you said, drop off the kids, dinner, work, husband, and just kind of go through this motion like it's Groundhog Day and you wake up and it's the same day every single day. So from that space, you're going to say, Rachel, something else?
I said, yeah, that's exactly right.
Cool. So from the space that you were in to then, okay, I'm going to do something. Because again, same conversation. I have a lot of women that say to me, I've been following you for 3 years. I don't know if I should buy that free journal. And I'm like, oh, Lordy, sister, take a step, right? And so it's hard though. It's hard for a lot of women to like take that first step. So what was it to go from like, I'm feeling stuck, I'm in this place of darkness, to I'm going to actually now take action? What was it? What was that catalyst or that thing that made you say, I'm going to apply?
Really, I just knew once you started talking about that live event, I just knew I had to be there. It was like you talked about the voice, listen to the voice. It was definitely a voice moment. And I was terrified. And I remember I was shaking so bad when we had that call that Ida was like, she's not gonna pick me. But it was just, I knew that either I stayed stuck and stayed where I was at, or I did something about it. Either I was going to, those were my only options. Either I was going to stay where I was at and I was going to stay miserable in my marriage, stay miserable in my work life, or I was going to do something about it. So being terrified to go, I knew that I had to be there. It was something so far outside of my comfort zone that I knew pushing myself that far out of my comfort zone, getting out of my element and the same mundane things that I was doing every day was going to have a powerful impact on me.
So cool. Because, for a lot of people, they'll feel the fear and think that's an indicator of, oh, I shouldn't do that, right? Kind of makes sense. You kind of go, we have this nerve system, we have this fight or flight kind of thing. We feel like something's not right, or we get kind of afraid and we run from it, right? There's no fight, there's no facing it. It's like run is the more common response. And so like, I fucking honor you for being like, let me just walk into that because there's something there, right? So now, here's the thing I want to actually have a conversation with you about, which I was talking to Christina yesterday. We did her interview. And for some women, there's not always the support, or they don't know how to talk to their husband about it. Or they're like, there's a little bit of a, how do I get him on board? And so what was the conversation with you and your husband when it came to like, okay, I did this and like, I got accepted. And did you talk to him before? Did you talk to him afterwards? Like, how did that go with you guys?
I had talked to him after I found out what the price commitment on it was, because I knew I wanted to be there. So he was so supportive, even just joining the sisterhood. It took me a month of just listening to your podcast before I was like, I think maybe I should do this. And he was like, why haven't you? And so I knew he was supportive because he does a lot of things that he invests in himself. And I was the one who wasn't investing in myself. So once I found out the money commitment to it, like that scared me. I have always, and I think just as women and mothers, like we're very like, oh, we can spend money on the kids, we can spend money on everybody else, but we don't take the money to invest into ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't need it. I'm okay. Like that kind of thing, right? Yeah.
I was like, well, it's not a necessity. Of course, and I realized how much it was a necessity after I went through it. So he was, he was like, oh, that's a lot of money. Is that something, are you sure that's what you want to do? And I was like, I need to be there. And so he said, okay, do it. So I'm fortunate that we were in a position that we had the funds to do it. And he's just really supportive of me, and anything that I'm doing for growing myself like that, he's always been very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we have had times, this is a little bit backing up, but we've had times that me switching from night shift to day shift, initially he wasn't supportive of it. But I knew that that was something I had to do. And so he kept telling me, even after I had asked to switch, he was like, you're not going to like it. I don't think you're going to like it. And there was a pay cut involved with it and everything. But I still listened to the voice. I knew it was something I needed to do. I was like, either I'm going to try it out and it's not going to work out, or, so I've had situations with him where he wasn't as supportive on something, but I knew I needed to do it. It was just fortunate that with this event, he was on board with it.
And, there'll be some women too who are applying or who are considering, and they're like, they might have more of the conversation of what you and your husband had with the switching to the day shift, right? Where there might have to be the like, hey, you know what? Like, I just really know and feel like I know from past experience that I've gone through, and even current experiences and ongoing with my own coaching and things that I do for personal growth and to really make me better, that there is sometimes the like, this is like the next level thing. And I have to really have this conversation with my husband and understand why it's important for me and to stand up. Because the same thing, we talked about this a lot at the live event, the voice, listening to that inner calling. Everybody has it. As soon as you start talking about it, everybody can think of a time where they either listen or they didn't listen, or they feel it and they hear it. And this was a big piece. This is actually a big piece of a lot of women. It's interesting. It'll be neat to kind of, once we have all the interviews done, to like overlay them. And I swear it's so similar. It's so similar of all of you saying like, I just felt like I had to do this. There's no kind of like, well, I did this, like a logical kind of thing. It was this inner pull, this like, I got to do this. Like voice is telling me, I just feel like I got to do it. It scares me. I got to do it. Right. So what was it like? So that was kind of like where you were, and then applying, then you got accepted. You get on the plane. What was it like when you showed up? When you like, what kind of stands out for you, whether it was the first day, the second day, the last, like what kind of really was that experience like, if women are just going like, what is this kind of thing? What was it like for you and what you saw through your eyes?
See, and it's funny too, because I had made a Facebook post about me going there. I think I was on my way there, and everyone was like, you're being so mysterious. What is this? What is this thing that you're doing? I was like, I don't have any idea how to describe it. And of course, like, even once you've gone through it, like, it's still hard to put it all into words because there's so much there. But yeah, so it's funny because even at that time I was like, I don't even know what exactly I'm going to. I just know I need to be there. I was really surprised at how I was so scared. Like, I've lived basically being scared of everything my whole life. So going there, I was terrified. The first time those elevator doors opened and I saw you, I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is real. But going from that feeling of being so scared and through the amount of growth that happened in those 3 days was just phenomenal. I still have a hard time putting it all into words. The biggest thing that really stands out to me through the whole experience was on top of that mountain.
Yeah, there's this funny thing where we sometimes feel like we have to have all the details.
Yeah.
Like a woman say to me, like, hey, can you send me, this can be like from live events to like other things, or even just like, the journal I'm giving away for free. Women pay like $9.95 for shipping. They're like, can you send me some more information about it? What does the book like? And what does the journal look like inside? I'm like, it's paper. Like, you don't need to know. I think we get really caught up in times and thinking we have to know everything before we decide. And there really is that pull and that knowing. I can think of things that, again, that I applied for. I'm like, I don't know what this is all about. I just know, right? I just know, I just know I got to be there. And if we can just get out of the way, you're talking about the beginning of this review being the obstacle, right? If we can just get out of the way of all that shit, which is really just like a shield for saying like, I'm scared and I need to know all the information. No, actually, we don't need to know anything. We just need to like take some action, and that stuff will be figured out for you later. Right. Which you're right. Even now trying to describe it, it's like, see, even if, let's say if I to the five of you, I said, okay, here's the agenda. We will be doing this. We'll be eating here. We'll be doing this. It wouldn't have been the same experience, would it?
Not at all. And
right.
That's something about the experience that I had, because initially I was kind of like irritated about it almost. I was like, I don't even know what the hell's going to be going on.
What, just fucking tell us. What are we doing when? Like, am I eating here? Am I not? Am I sleeping? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So it was initially something like that for me, but it ended up being something that really, I have severe trust issues. And that was something that really helped in that, because I was like, I don't have to know what's going to happen on the other side of, anything, just trust that I know I need to be here. I know there's something here for me, and I don't have to know. And so I thought that was something really awesome about it.
Mm-hmm. It's life though, right? Like, we don't know. We were just having a conversation about parenting before we went on this live, and it's like, oh my God, shit with the kids. Like, it's normally this boy. Now it's this boy who's showing up this way. And, I'm sure it's that way for you when you show up at work as a nurse. Like, you don't know what you're walking into, but this is a perfect analogy and metaphor for life, because again, we don't know and we don't need to know. And the only thing that needs to happen is for us to be present and open to the experience that you were at this event and the four other women. And the same thing with life, right? So from the very beginning, I asked Christine this question. I'm going to ask you this too, because I think this was really interesting to hear her response. From the beginning of when you walked in, you said the elevator door is open, you saw me, you're like, oh my God, this is real, to that last night, the Wednesday evening. How had things shifted for you? How were things different? How were you different?
Wow. It was such a powerful experience. I'm actually really surprised. I was surprised at how much it shifted me. When we were there, I had brought up some things that at the time, I didn't even think I was going to bring up when I came to the event. I had brought up some childhood abuse that had gone on, and what you had asked us to journal, and immediately that was the first thing that came to my mind. And I was like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And learning to listen to the voice there led me to let go of some things that I didn't even know I needed to let go of. I came there a very insecure person, feeling very small, and I left as someone very powerful and someone who was a lot lighter.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I see it in so there's a video that we had produced of all little parts and pieces. And it's so cool to see all of you at the end of that. I almost wish, and actually I'll be doing this with the evolution, is not that this is a spoiler alert for when they're going to be applying and get accepted and come, but like, I'm going to take a picture from the first day to the last day, like, mugshot kind of picture, right? Because literally you can see the lightness in all of you. And what you described too is why I smile on my face, because I'm remembering what you were like, right? For me, I could see someone that was very scared, very anxious, very closed, right? Very, small. And it's not because, and you are like petite, right? It's not the physicalness of it. It's just, you could sense and feel it in you, to the difference and the power and how you spoke and being able to share things. I always find it really interesting, often you were the case as well too, Rachel, of how sometimes at the beginning when women are speaking and sharing, or I'm asking questions, it's just like all over the place, right? And then as the days go on, there becomes this certainty that takes the place of the chaos and the stuck and the lost kind of feelings that women often come into these experiences with. So to see you at the end, not even just to hear your words, the power in that, but physically there is a transformation of how you look.
Oh yeah.
And it's not because of the physical things that we do, right? Or the, oh my God, I got a lot of stuff out, so therefore I'm lighter. It is literally like you are shifting from the inside, which shifts how you are on the outside.
Yeah. And I actually watched that video last night because I hadn't watched it in a long time. And I could completely see the difference in myself from the beginning, how that beginning video to the end. And I was like, it's undeniable. Like anybody who watches it could look at that and see it without even knowing me. You can see the difference in all of them.
I love that. I love that. So here's something that often happens, right? People might come to an experience like this or other types of seminars, and they get really like, and they're around people that are like them or things that they want to be like, and they're all pumped up, and then they come back home, and because they're out of the bubble, right? Because when you were removed from obviously your children and your hubby and work and all this stuff, and you can just really be immersive in the process. And I don't want to say it's easy because it ain't easy, right? Doing this work, but it is in a place where it is safe and possible for those transformations and breakthroughs to happen. But then you go thrust back into regular life, right? And your husband hasn't had the experience and your kids weren't there with you, and you're trying to kind of transition back in. And I find for a lot of women, a lot of people just have gone through these experiences too. It's easy in that place. And then you come back and it just becomes this drift back, right? And so what has it been like for you then almost 3 months later? Like, where are you now from where you at the live event experience? And how was that transition back for you?
The transition back was definitely, like you said, it's hard because they haven't gone through the experience, and we're kind of still on fire from everything you went through and all pumped up and everything. And you come back and you're like, oh, we got to do all this stuff. Let's go. And you really kind of have to step back and remember, they didn't experience everything that you just experienced.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely, initially I had to really think about, be conscious of that with my husband, especially because I'm like, you should be doing this. Let's get up at 5 a.m. and all this stuff. And he's like, whoa. I don't think so. The other thing that was hard for me too was kind of keeping myself from drifting, because I'm like, well, he's sleeping and I should sleep in too, or well, he's not doing it. We can, whatever. And so
who's gonna know, right? Who's gonna know? Yeah.
So I really had to start thinking of things. Okay, it doesn't matter what he's doing. These are my goals. What am I doing to work on my goals? He can worry about himself. He's a big boy. I'm not here to save him. I'm here to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. And that's that last little statement that you just said, that is such a powerful statement for women to hear. Right. And for you to feel, as you said before, I'd be like, I don't want to spend even like money on me, like the kids. And I'd be like, that's fine. And right. But to realize like, yeah, you're here for you.
Yeah.
Right. We are here, yes, as wives and mothers and sisters and aunties and daughters and nurses and fill in the blank our profession. And a lot of us that are here to really serve as women and to support as women and maybe even to nurture in some levels, especially being a mother, definitely with you being a nurse. But we all know this, right? It's like, if we don't put ourselves first, which by the way, isn't selfish, that's fine. I just call it self-love. Like really, we all know this, that we cannot run ourselves into the ground and think that we can keep going at this place of give without giving back to ourselves. And when I see this shift in women, just like you would just share right now, it's like, that's such a significant thing that if you and I never connected again, if you went, thanks a lot, women want more, I'm out kind of thing. And yet you only carried with you that, which was, I need to take care of myself first. Like it is up to me. Then that would be like, I would be happy, right? Of course, I want to still stay in touch with you and all the other women that I work with. Of course, I still want to see you continue this and to be part of the message and movement, which is getting bigger and bigger. But that piece is like pivotal. If you could look back at like, so let's say a year ago, Rachel is now seeing present day Rachel. Would you believe the words that you were saying just now?
A year ago, Rachel probably wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe that I am now who I was, It would be hard for me to believe that I am who I am now. And yeah, like I said before, I didn't realize at the time, like the whole thing about spending money on myself and investing in myself, I would look at it as it's not a necessity. It is absolutely a necessity. And I've learned now that it is important that I put myself first. It doesn't matter what my friends are doing or my husband's doing or my kids are doing. I have to put myself first if I want to be the best I can be for them. It's not, we always try to tend to, oh, well, if I do everything for my kids and I do everything for my husband, then I'm doing what I need to do. But you're going to do it so much better when you put yourself first. You're going to be a better mother. So yeah, it's absolutely a necessity to me now to invest in myself.
Yeah. The martyr loses, right? It's like it's so prophesized of like, oh, you look at you sacrifice everything for the kids and the husband and the, and work and all this. And meanwhile, not living a life that's happy and fulfilling and with purpose. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, it's, yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
I said, and that's how we get so lost. We get so lost in focusing on everybody else. We don't even know who we are anymore. And, that's something I'm still, we had talked recently, something I'm still trying to figure out and work towards is who the hell am I? I've spent so much time taking care of kids and my husband and everybody else around me that you don't even know what kind of toast you like, so just you spend so much time on everybody else, you don't even know who you are.
Yeah. This really is. I mean, this process is a journey. It sounds really cheesy, but I'm just going to say it, a journey back to who you are, to figure out who the fuck you are. Yeah. And it's been like such a gift and so amazing. I would say out of the 5 women, and you all had incredible, transformations, credible. But I would say yours has definitely been the biggest from how you described yourself and how I saw you, and then how you stand here now, right? And I'm also really honored that you're going to be helping to assist at the Evolution coming up in February. I'm so excited to have you there, Rachel. I know you're going to just be such value to give back to those 8 women that are going to be there. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for your time today. It's amazing. Yeah. Appreciate you, sister. So we're going to sign off. You're going to see there's going to be 4 more Facebook Lives coming out with the other 4 women. And so stay tuned and watch for notifications. And thanks again, Rachel. Love and appreciate you, sister.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.